Or you suddenly felt the fabric around the zipper start to tighten. Oh, oh, screw it all. Hey guys, welcome back to Chasing You. Yeah, so last time we kind of gotten accused of killing our aunt. This whole thing is fucked up, dude. Let's just get into it. This is episode 2. It says, so they say you killed your beloved auntie, but you're not the one to just accept your fate, are you? Okay. So I guess now we get on to doing our detective work, hopefully, and figuring this out. But I mean, how are we gonna work through, I don't know, the day everything went wrong? The situation in the living room was getting heavier by the minute. Most of it was likely due to Martha's wailing. It was either that or the gaze of the detective leaning over you. You are far too calm for someone who just lost their beloved auntie. You hiccuped in response and immediately covered your mouth with your hand. Eliza nervously grabbed your hand, pitifully looking at Goodman's assistant, who was sitting in the corner of the room with a notepad in hand. Oh, he is cute. Sorry. So the authorities now allow you to put pressure on the witnesses? He emphasized the last word and squinted angrily as he was about to get up from his chair. Dante, it's alright. The detective is simply doing his job. I'm ready to answer any questions you may have. Raising your eyes at the detective's face, you caught a glimpse of respect in the eyes of his assistant. If he's a love interest, I'm down. I'm completely down. Wow. Okay, sorry. The detective pondered for a bit and took a few steps back, changing his tone. I kind of want to picture this guy. He's scary looking. Jeez. Miss Harris is right. I'm simply doing my job. We'll need to question all of you. It's not really the time for this. We just lost a member of the family, you know. Oh, that face. The detective turned to face your uncle and noted. Which one of you killed her, then, in your opinion? The temperature in the living room instantly dropped by a few degrees. Wow. Elizabeth gasped, covering her mouth with her palm. Frederick grimaced. But it was an accident. That may or may not become clear once we thoroughly inspected everything and everyone. He turned back to you. I would like to start with my interrogation with you, Miss Harris. With me? I mean, sure, I guess. I made a mess in that room. Yes? The detective slowly nodded and looked at the sobbing Martha. Which room can we use? I will take you there. There's an office on the first floor. Detective, can I get change first? You pointed at your blood-stained clothes. Yes, of course, Miss Harris. I will wait for you there. Follow me, please. Bitch. What the hell? Oh, that's cute. That's also pretty cute. But yeah, this is crazy. I'm digging this though. I like that. Let's wear that. That looks good. Stepping foot in the room, you were unable to breathe for a moment. The air was heavy with the smell of Aunt Annette's perfume. Your knees immediately grew weak, and you were forced to grab onto the doorframe to keep your balance. Auntie wouldn't approve of all this. You were barely able to contain a hysterical giggle, but regained your composure quickly. This isn't the time for hysterics. I can have my cry later. Okay. The detective watched attentively as you took a seat in one of the chairs. After a moment of hesitation, he sat down on the couch beside his silent assistant. Annette's chair remained empty, and when you turned around, you immediately got goosebumps. So, Melody, let's start at the very beginning. When did you arrive here? Yesterday morning, at about 10, I believe. Did you see or hear anything out of the ordinary? Should I be telling him everything? What if it makes him suspect one of my relatives? I don't believe any of them could do it. I just can't. I can. It was all just an accident. She tripped and hit her head. And this jerk is going to start suspecting everyone left and right. I mean, it's kind of his job. Who do you think did it? You involuntarily clenched your fist. Something out of the ordinary. Should we fully corroborate? Let's cooperate for now. He's just trying to do his job, you know. And if they really didn't do it, then they'll be cleared, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm having too much faith. You told Detective about what happened at the parking lot. It might seem silly, but I saw someone staring at me through the window and got scared. Who did you see? I don't know. I was unable to make out who it was. A servant from the house came up, sneaking up from behind me and distracted me. The redhead? Why would she sneak up on you? Yes, Martha. I chose the wrong word. She was just very quiet and startled me. All right. So you went inside. Did you anything catch your attention? There was... They're giving me more chances not to say anything. Should I not? I've already started. Let's just go with my gut. I mean, I would tell the truth. Told the detective about the argument that I overheard. Where exactly? Right here. There was an argument between Auntie and some guy. You didn't recognize him? No. What were they talking about? He was saying something about humiliation, to which you responded with, "You brought this upon yourself," or something like that. I left almost immediately. I see. What happened next? Well, we gathered in the living room. I left to help Martha. You were helping the servants? Why? Becky didn't come into work, and Martha is her superior. She was supposed to tell Auntie immediately that Becky was absent, but she decided to tell Auntie right away. She finally told her about it when we were all gathered in the living room. She probably thought that Auntie wouldn't scold her in the front of the others, but she was wrong. Annette wasn't feeling shy. I defended Martha. We have a rule in this house. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty, and always take responsibility for your words. That's good to remember. I'm going to try to play by that. So, always take responsibility for your words, and don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Okay. And you? Got angry at Mrs. Harris? He leaned in, intertwining his fingers. I was mad. I was. So mad that you wanted to pay her back for it? What are you implying? What makes you think that I'm implying anything at all? Because you are? What else would you call this? Did you know that according to a recent study, the leading cause for up to 90% of crimes is money? React? How? Noted your self-control. Okay, it's good. You gracefully kept your silence, waiting for him to continue. Like, I don't know what that means. Like, react? Like, that could be anything. Like, I'm not trying to get up and start having hysterics and crap. Like, that's not gonna help the situation, so... And you, a poor young beauty, taken in by your aunt after the tragic death of your parents. Let me guess, you're the sole heir? Or does 90% of the wealth go to you and the rest towards charity? You turn red from head to toe, barely containing your anger. I loved my aunts, or don't even know the contents of the will. I mean, I don't. No one does, except her and her notary, and the two of us didn't have that kind of relationship to... You're out of your mind, detective. So you're saying you loved her? That's exactly what I'm saying. The detective looked at you in silence for a bit, then suddenly changed the subject. Where were you between midnight and 2:40? In my room, sleeping. Can someone confirm that? How am I supposed to know? You can interrogate my pillow. I'm sure you can confirm it for me. In other words, you have a motive and no alibi. Curious. There's nothing curious about it. I mean, sure you can make notation, but what are you supposed to do when you're asleep? It's like, okay. You gasped out of anger, disgust, and fear. The detective emotionlessly observed your reaction. Well, thank you for your time, Miss Harris. You're free to go, for now. Would you be so kind as to call in Mr. Charles? And don't leave town until this investigation is over. I mean, of course not. I have to arrange the funeral for my aunt. Where the hell am I gonna go? You quickly got up and confidently walked out of the room. If Annette could see you right now, she'd be proud. Okay, so got through the interrogation. Hopefully, I didn't make any missteps. Maybe I don't. Was I supposed to tell him the information? I don't know. I don't know. Beyond the door, Eliza and Charles were waiting for you. Are you alright? What did they ask you? What happened and what did I do last night? I'm sorry, Uncle. I'm exhausted. The detective asked for you to come in next. Charles hesitated for a bit before going in. Eliza embraced you and pressed her cheek against your shoulder. How about we go for a cup of tea in the garden? You headed for the exit. Stick close to her, gently push her hand away. What's that about? That's random. Oh, wait, this is kind of as romancing her? I don't think it counts as romancing her. I've done the choice. Supported by her, you left the room. Nobody tried to stop the two of you. Would somebody have tried to stop us if I didn't push her away? I don't know. While Eliza went to the kitchen to prepare the tea, you sat on the grass and looked at the sky. What lovely weather. As if nothing happened. As if everything is just fine. You shook your head, fighting off the wave of sadness. Always remember what she told you. The dead don't need your tears. You sat, running your fingers through the grass, and sighed. Auntie, but what if I do need the tears? By the time Eliza returned with the 2 hot cups of tea, you had managed to calm down, at least externally. What are you sitting on the ground for? You'll get yourself dirty. You said something dismissive as you held both cups, forcing her to join you on the grass. For a while, the two of you sat in complete silence. Then Eliza sighed. When you found her, was she still alive? Looking down your cup, you shook your head, and suddenly tears burst from your eyes. You watched them seep through your hands and into the ground below you. You couldn't hold them back. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have. She took your cup and started wiping away the tears as if it could stop their flow. She then hugged you tightly, continuously apologizing. I feel like I've already done something here. I'm just gonna gently push her away. I'm not trying to romance her. I think I've decided to go for the assistant, even though I don't know his name or if he's a love interest at all. I'm gonna hold out hope for him. Or should I? I don't know. I kind of just want to see how things go. I don't know how I feel about anybody yet. And I don't know that I like her that much. Let's be honest. I don't know. I didn't like the way that her and Dante were talking about my aunt. Something seems sketch, and I don't really trust anybody right now. So I'm gently push her away. With a guilty smile, you pulled back and turned away from Eliza while rubbing your eyes. The tears kept coming, but you kept fighting them until your eyes started hurting. Finally, taking a few deep breaths, you felt like you were gaining control over yourself. After another minute of slow breathing, you turned back to face her. I'm sorry, Melody. I shouldn't have asked. You gave her a weak smile and reached for your cup. No, I am sorry. I'm just reacting too emotionally. You turned the cup around in your hands, then slowly breathed in the aroma and took a sip. Eliza, did you happen to hear anything? Knocking, screaming, anything at all? She turned a few shades more pale and grabbed her cup. Me? No, I didn't hear anything. I was just asleep. I told you I didn't trust her. She already lied. What about in the evening? Was there anything out of the ordinary? I missed the dinner entirely. Eliza shook her head, getting even paler, and finished the still hot tea in one gulp. Absolutely nothing. Melody, what time is it? She didn't even, like, pretend to think about it. That's so shady. I don't want to romance somebody I don't trust. I don't know. Let me check. Damn it. My phone. I left it in that room. They'll probably have to keep it as evidence. What? No, there's... Shit. What if I get a message from my new job? No, no, no. I need to get my phone back. I can't. I know I brought it with me from my room. It can't be evidence. It's just my phone. I need to go get it. But you can't go there. The door is sealed. You're going to leave more traces. What does it mean that I've already made enough of a mess so it doesn't matter if I make any more? Or should I say I'm going to be careful? Why am I going in this room at all? Why don't I just ask the detective go get it? Why can't she do it with her phone? It's not that big of a deal. Jeez, oh my gosh. What, this company contact you by like text message? I doubt it. As rich as she is, why can't she just go buy a new phone right now? Like, it's not that serious if he gets caught for evidence. It's really not. I don't know why I'm arguing against this. I'm gonna be careful. Don't worry about me. I didn't see a point or anything. I don't know what I did. Just don't tell anyone. I'm going back in there. Eliza nodded and bit her lip as she watched you go. Oh, goodness. That's a bad idea. First, you had to go around the house without being seen from either the living room or the office. The third step creaked, and you silently went up to the second floor. There's no one here. Everyone must be downstairs, waiting for their turn to be interrogated. While looking around, you approached the door. Damn, it really is sealed. I have to find another way in. This is shady as hell. Why would you do this? There's an investigation going on, and you sneaking into the room, taking things out of the room? You sadly scratched up the edge of the tape when suddenly you were grabbed by the wrist. What the? You shouldn't go around tearing up official police investigation tape. What are you doing here? What about you? I was going to the bathroom. There are bathrooms on the first floor, too. Yeah, by the stairs. The same stairs I watched you heading up just now. I just got curious as to why you were coming up here. My room is also on this floor. I could have been on my way there. He shifted his gaze to the scratched off piece of tape. I have some business. It must be terribly important. What would Detective Goodman think if he saw you scratching the steel tape off? Possibly something along the lines of the killer always returns to the scene of the crime. Or even, she came back here to hide a piece of evidence. The killer? You don't mean to say that you suspect me? I have my doubts. You did have both motive and the opportunity. Actions after the accident made a good impression, but most importantly, the detective seems to suspect you. Auntie says it's an accident. The detective is wasting his time. He suddenly leaned towards you with a vicious glint in his eyes. And what if he isn't? What if someone from your family, or one of the servants, did kill her? There's no reason to go around throwing around accusations. He chuckled while looking at you with a hint of pity. You felt the urge to wring his neck. You know, The step downstairs creaked beneath someone's foot. Shh. Looking from side to side, he measured up the situation and suddenly pushed you. You didn't expect that and stumbled backward into an alcove, completely concealed by curtains. A second later, he appeared before you and pressed his chest against you. What the hell are you doing? Shh, you idiot. He listened closely and sighed. Now look what you've done. He's coming here. Suddenly grabbing you by the wrist, he put the other one on your waist. Kiss me. What? Do it, damn you. Not waiting around for objections, he leaned in and forcefully kissed you. Uh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Oh, I have so many doubts this episode. I know what he was trying to do. It wasn't a big deal. Alright, here we are. I'm just gonna give in this time. You were unable to breathe for a bit, then you relaxed and gave in. Your hands, which a mere second ago were pushing him away, now tightly wrapped around his shoulders. I mean, you had to do all that. You parted your lips and your tongue slid in between his. Okay, we didn't have to take it that far. Okay. Alexander did not expect that kind of reaction. His body tensed up, and for a brief moment he thought he was going to pull back, but he pressed harder against you, and the kiss immediately became more hot and greedy. The curtain behind you suddenly opened, revealing the face of the Goodman's assistant. Oh no. I thought it was Goodman. Why do I feel like, I remember seeing Memoirs of a Geisha, where she expected the other guy to come, and so she was fooling around with the one guy so she could stop having him go after her so she can go after who she really wanted, but it ended up being the guy who she really wanted, who came to see what was going on and saw her doing nasty with somebody else. This is that situation. So am I going to restart all over again? Yes. Okay. I'm biting him again. She shrieked in protest and pushed against his chest with one hand. He pressed harder against you, trying to stifle the resistance. With a growl, you bit his lip. He cursed and pulled back. What's gotten into you? Same goes for you. The curtain behind you suddenly opened, revealing the face of Goodman's assistant. Oh, my apologies. I didn't expect. Alexander waited for exactly 2 seconds before turning back to you. I'm sorry. Samuel. Makoto Samuel. Oh my god. Then he's like introducing himself by like James Bond. Oh my god. Alexander Nilsson, at your service. Samuel, do you mind? He slowly looked at both of you. Of course, but I must ask you to not use this corridor so intensively. We wouldn't want to lose any evidence should there be any around here. Alexander smiled and immediately nodded. We wouldn't do anything to hinder investigation. We'll be going then. Alexander, I hope you won't forget to come for a chat with the detective. I wouldn't miss it for the world. It is my duty as a civilian, after all. He then proceeded to extend his hand to you, and the two of you ran off. You tried to close the door on him, but Alexander managed to block it with his foot. You quickly gave up on the idea and retreated further into the room. What was that back there? I saved you from a rather unpleasant talk with dear old Sammy. You should be grateful. You gave him the heaviest stare you could muster, but he remained unfazed. Thanks. Now get the hell out. Why do you need to get into that room? Because. I mean, I ain't got no reason to hide it. I mean, that just makes me seem sketchy, and he's just gonna be following me around trying to find out what I was doing in there anyway. Can you be more specific? It's my phone. I need it. It's hardly evidence. I had it with me when I discovered Auntie. He squinted as he looked you over. A real killer would be able to come up with more plausible excuses. Well, I'm not a killer, so there you go. Maybe. How can you prove it? What happened to presumption of innocence? That's not going to cut it. You were the first one on the scene. Your prints are all over the place, and your clothes were stained with blood. You're the most likely heiress, and she was about to change the will, and the two of you argued. And finally, I caught you trying to break into a sealed room. I must say, it doesn't look good for you. His breakdown of the situation deflated you entirely, and you sat down on the bed. But I didn't kill her. What on earth? He squinted as he crossed his arms and leaned against the wall. Tell you what, you say you just want to get your phone from there. I will come with you and ensure there's no funny business. In return, you will be my eyes and ears. You will inspect the room under my guidance. Deal? Why do you need this? He pondered whether he should answer or not. What do you think? He's too obviously suspicious to be the culprit. So I don't think he's the culprit out of everybody here. I think Eliza did something dirty. I don't think she killed Auntie either. But everybody else, they're fair game. Just saying. Yeah, he exhaled sarcastically. You have beautiful eyes and a nice ass, but that's hardly enough for me to start worrying about you. Or do you think that I fell in love with you at first sight like some two-dimensional video game character? And now I want nothing more than rescue you from every bad situation? I didn't say all that, but whatever. You angrily growled at him. I want to find the killer myself. What? He immediately fresh red. I want to beat this, Goodman, to it and find out what happened in that room on my own. And if you're not the killer, then that's just more reason for us to join forces. He thought for a bit before adding, though, if you are the killer, this might be useful for you. Keep your enemies close and all that. You stared at him for a few seconds straight, then started laughing. That's just silly. Perhaps, but you do need your phone, so partners? He extended his hand to you. Why does he want... First of all, what does he have against the detective? That's number one. Why does he want to solve this himself? Like that... But I won't team up with you. You're too slippery. He shrugged and retracted his hand, seemingly unfazed by your words. So, how can we get inside without using the door? Well, the window? That's going to be our last resort, since there are going to be an extra traces left and the police are sure to find them. Which in turn will add on to your pile of problems. This is a very old house. When was it built? 19th century, if not earlier. There used to be a castle here. It was partly destroyed and reconstructed as a house. A castle? Perfect. I'm sure there are secret ways around here, and your aunt must have known about them. Well, I think one time it was weird. You desperately tried to cling to a fleeting memory. Yes, once I met with her exiting the northern room when just minutes prior I saw her in her own bedroom. Good start. Who occupies that room now? Dante. I saw him leaving it last night. Then we're going to need a key. Who has one? Well, I'm sure Martha has a copy. Can we get it from her? We could, but then she'd have a billion questions about why. Martha is quite the gossip. Okay, she'll be our last resort. Dante, then? So it would seem. He pondered for a while. Alexander looking at you was very distracting. But we can't just walk up to him and politely ask for his key. Melody, are you a woman or what? Don't you know how to get something from a man? You sharply exhaled, stood up, and started pushing him out into the corridor. Alright, I'll get it. Just get it. Don't get in my way. Now get out of my room. I don't know what to do with him. I can't. I don't really like him. I don't hate him either. I don't know how I feel. I keep going back and forth about how I should respond to him. I don't know. Before going back to the living room, you ruffled your hair and added a hint of blue eyeshadow. Your appearance caused everyone to freeze up and stop talking. Uncle Charles got up, his face filled with compassion, and tightly hugged you. My poor girl. That bastard completely drained you, didn't he? You look so upset. Don't worry. We don't believe him, and he can't prove anything. What are you talking about? This good may think that Melody is involved with the tragedy, but just can't be. He created you like a small child while everyone else in the room was looking at you. Out of the corner of your eye, you saw Alexander smirk as he snuck into the room. Somewhere deep inside you, anger started to boil. It's just a misunderstanding, and I'm sure that it will resolve itself. You managed to make your smile seem both tired and graceful. Alexander squinted approvingly from the corner of the room. Dante, can you come with me for a minute? I need your help. He nodded, stood up, and followed you out of the room. In the kitchen, you desperately looked around. It's a pretty kitchen. What can I do for you? The tea. Over there on the top shelf? I couldn't reach. You could have just used the chair. You covered your mouth with one hand and giggled. The chair, right. I didn't think about it. I just... You swallowed, turned towards the window, and took a couple of deep breaths as if trying to calm down. Melody, this is harder on you than all of us combined. He approached you and somewhat awkwardly placed his hands on your shoulder. You immediately turned around and pressed yourself against his chest. Your shoulders were quivering. He hugged you, carefully at first, then pulling you closer in. It's gonna be okay, I promise. Hush, don't cry. I have to find the key. Is it in the back pockets or the front? Oh no! Why do you give me 4 options? Okay. I'm gonna go with the right side. I usually put my crap... I put my phone in my back pocket, but if something like a key, I will put it in my front pocket. If I go digging around in his front pocket... if I go digging around in his back pocket, oh my god. This is terrible. So, right... front pocket, because people normally get pickpocketed from their back pocket, right? Which means that most people will probably put stuff back there. This might take a couple of tries, and I'm probably going to have to restart this several times. You leaned forward a bit and felt the front pocket of his jeans. There it is. Wait. Wait. Hold up. There it is, big and thick, like all the keys around here. Looking up, you were met with Dante's confused gaze. Now I have to get it out of there somehow. Okay, so I think it really is the key, not something else. You sniffled a couple of times and nuzzled against his chest. Using that as a distraction, you carefully stuck your fingers into the pocket deeper. Melody, what are you doing? To your horror, you suddenly felt the fabric around the zipper start to tighten. Oh, screw it all. You grabbed him by the collar and pulled him in for a kiss. He moaned as you infiltrated his mouth with your tongue. Oh no. Your hand barely went deeper into his pocket and stroked the bulge. Dante moaned again, this time taking a step forward and pressing you against the shelves. His hand started greedily caressing your back. This is a disaster. 2 times in one day I had to kiss someone against my will. And Dante, of all people, he's my cousin. Well, we're not related by blood, but still. You quietly mumbled something, encouraging him, and you carefully pushed a key out of his pocket. A few more seconds spent kissing as you desperately tried to put it into your own pocket, until finally your lips separated and you were left looking at him desperately and wildly. I'm sorry, Dante. With a sharp exhale, you pushed him away and quickly left the kitchen. Melody, wait. But you weren't listening as you dashed out into the corridor. This is so wrong. This is so wrong. Like, because I get the feeling that he liked her from before, and now I feel like I'm just playing with his emotions. There has to be a way to get the key without kissing him. I just kind of panicked. Why am I having such a hard time with this? Oh my god. It's been 40 minutes. I'm having trouble again. As I've gone back through, I'm just like, Dante is really cute. I don't know what my problem is. I can't make up my mind. This is what I'm like when I have to be fresh with the game. Because I don't know what to expect. So I don't know. And I'm putting all my coins in the basket for the assistant to be a love interest. But he may not be. But he probably could be. And I can't trust Dante. know what to say for myself. Okay. You know what? That's it. That's it. We're just gonna go for it. You know what? Consequences be damned. I'll have to deal with it, or at the very least, I'll just start the whole series over. But you weren't listening as you danced out into the corridor. Reaching the hall, you stood still for a few seconds, thinking about your next move. Did you get it? Startled, you turned around and hissed in his face. Are you sneaking up on me on purpose? Trying to give me a heart attack? Of course not. You're just so oblivious to what's happening around you. With a grim expression, you took the key out and waved it in front of Alexander's face. Great. You're not as useless as I thought. You angrily went upstairs to the northern room. When you reached it, Alexander cautiously looked around as you opened the door. So, if you were a secret passageway, where would you hide? Somewhere along the wall? Or on the floor? Let's split up our efforts. What do you want to start with? The walls, these panels kind of look like one of them could be a doorway. I'm gonna check out the walls. Then I'll cover the floor. You went along the walls, checking every panel you came across. Your fingers slid across them almost without thinking, while your eyes carefully looked at every inch of the surface. 5 minutes passed, 10, nothing. Floor is clear. No signs here either. Maybe there's no secret passageway here after all. We have to keep looking. Let me... Wait. You pushed a small figure of an angel carved into one of the panels, and it sank into the wall. Ha! I found it. Okay, so it wasn't a wall. Completely in the wall by this point, the figure rotated and the panel slid to the side. I knew that panel looked suspicious. The passageway that opened up was narrow, and the air inside was still. We have to go in there, right? He glanced at you and rolled his eyes, then he took you by the hand. Don't be afraid. I'm here with you. That doesn't make me any less afraid. You shook off his hand and stepped inside. You heard giggling behind you, but you didn't even turn around. When inside, he flipped a lever, and the panel closed behind you. How do you know that lever would do that? When the panel on the other side opened, you were finally able to breathe properly. Dark and closed spaces are not for me. You stepped into the room and immediately became nauseous from the smell of fresh blood. Keep it together, Melody. You just have to get your phone back and get out. You forced yourself to look around. The phone was on the far side of the table. Be careful. You can still leave unnecessary traces. He didn't leave the passageway. That's suspicious. I feel like you set me up. You nodded and climbed on the bed to avoid stepping into the puddle of blood on the floor and reached for your phone. Great. You got what you came for. Now let's take a look around. What for? Because I'm curious about the culprit. Aren't you? It was an accident. Someone coughed beyond the door. The two of you immediately froze up. What seemed like an eternity later, a door further down the corridor slammed and everything once again grew silent. You realized that you exhaled and just now realized how shaky your hands were. All right. I'll have a look around for Auntie. You saw him grimace, although he didn't say a word. For a second, you felt thankful. All right. Just to look around the room. If I were the killer, what path would I take? What would I do? You slowly turned around, absorbing the information about the room. Late night, I come to the door, close it, go to the center of the room. I'm talking to Auntie while she is sitting at the table. She always spoke to visitors from her spot at the table. Unless it was someone close. In that case, she would stay in the bed. The bedside table? If only because if it was anybody from last night, she was close with pretty much all of them except maybe Alexander. But like I said, I already don't think, despite how suspicious he is, maybe because of how suspicious he is, I don't think he's the culprit. So I'm going to assume that she was in bed when this happened. Well, when it started. Carefully going around the blood, you kneel before the bedside table. Both drawers were open and contained nothing of interest. Glasses, a couple of detective novels, which made your heart ache. You always liked the silly, cheap pulp stuff. What's in there? Nothing of interest. Check under the bed and wardrobe. Okay, so it wasn't the bedside table. I'm still gonna go. I think it was around the bed. You turned around and took a few careful steps toward it, running your fingers across. You checked underneath, carefully moving along the perimeter of the bed. Nothing. It seemed like she didn't trust her bed with anything important. Well, apparently I was completely wrong. It was a table. Without moving, you looked at the table. A few trinkets, a lamp, nothing incriminating. No notes or any other piece of paper. You tried opening the drawers. Locked. Any idea where she kept the key? You slowly shook your head. If I were a key, I would be... You lifted a bronze statuette from the table and checked its underside. Found it. You unlocked the top drawer and were surprised at what you found. What's in there? It was empty, save for one thing. You slowly picked it up. Once again, going around the puddle of blood, you approached him and showed what you found. A dried onion? What is this? It's an onion. Dried onion? Why would your aunt... Suddenly there were footsteps outside the door, and a muffled voice was heard. Good on you for sealing the door so thoroughly, but now it will take us ages to get all of this off. I swear sometimes. Damn. Looks like the interrogation is over. We have to get out of here quick. In one smooth motion, he pulled you into the passageway and flipped the lever on the other side. The panel silently slid shut behind you. You quickly but silently made your way back into your cousin's room. Phew, that was close. You shoved Alexander back into the passage and closed the panel behind him. That left you barely enough time to fold your hands on your lap before the bedroom door opened up. Dummy, you could have at least closed it behind you. Oh, Melody? What are you... Suddenly he seemed to understand something as he quickly went inside and closed the door behind him. You came to discuss what happened in the kitchen? The awkwardness of this situation is beyond overwhelming. I have to get Alexander out of that tunnel and get out of here. Yeah, came and talk, but I know that this is a strange situation. I was shocked myself, but he paced around the room for a bit until he suddenly ended up in front of you. That kiss, it awoke something unexpected in me. Looking into your eyes, he raised his hand and carefully caressed your cheek. I always thought of you as my cousin, so cute, yet so distant. And then you appeared before me in the garden. I was at a loss for words. You were so beautiful that I couldn't help myself. I had to take you with me. Then in the kitchen, so close, so warm, so confused. If only you'd let me, I could hug you and never let go. Okay, that's kind of cute. His calm and collected face scrunched in a grimace of pain. But they wouldn't understand something like this between us. He put one of his hands on your waist. He leaned in toward your lips. He's taking this way too seriously. What should I do? And Alexander's still stuck in the wall. Oh, please don't do a quick decision. I can't make any quick decisions. Okay. He just said that they wouldn't understand, but then he's still trying to kiss me. How far am I trying to go with this? I'm so confused. Ugh. He's kind of sweet and he's really cute. Crap. No. Everyone be damned. He's handsome, a talented actor, and seems to like me. Why should I deny myself the pleasure of kissing a guy like that? We're not related by blood anyway. Throwing back all concerns, you kissed him back. You were immediately enveloped in the smell of his cologne and felt yourself getting dizzy. You half expected him to be rough and daring about it, that he'd pin you against the wall, but he was extremely gentle. His hands were gently and methodically inspecting every inch of your body. They went from your shoulders all the way down to your waist. You shook in protest when he grabbed lower, to which he started calmly whispering to you. Easy now, my fairy. Easy. With a single effortless motion, he lifted you up and took a few steps towards the bed. You landed with your back on the soft blanket and immediately pulled him closer. Behind his back, the wall panel partly opened and Alexander's pale face poked through the gap. Seeing the two of you on the bed, he grimaced and slowly slid the panel back. Whatever, but by that point, you didn't care about him at all as Dante's knees pressed against your crotch. He was kissing you again, skillfully and slowly as if savoring every moment. Inch by inch, he bared your skin while covering it with copious amounts of kisses. Suddenly, there was knocking on the door, and without waiting for a response, it opened. Why didn't she wait for a response? That's... Mr. Harris, you're needed downstairs to... Oh, I'm sorry. This is so awkward. I'm sorry for interrupting. Still ruffled, red in the face in Dante's embrace, he felt the rising urge to kill Martha. She did this on purpose. She must have heard me from the corridor and decided to check out what was happening in here. That bitch. Martha, what the hell? Who permitted you to come in? I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Harris, but Mr. Harrison has arrived and Mr. Goodman is asking for everyone to gather downstairs. Anthony Harrison? Auntie's lawyer? Yes. We'll be right there. Now get out of here. Martha immediately left the room, although you absolutely didn't like the satisfied expression she had as she left. You straightened out your clothes and sighed. Dante, you go on ahead. I'm going to get myself in order and join you. He hesitated for a bit, then nodded and left the room. As soon as the door closed behind him, Alexander finally stepped out of the tunnel. So how was it? Kissing your cousin and all. You are a worse kisser. That's fucked up. But seriously, it's none of your business. With a contemptuous smile, he looked out into the corridor and left. You're seriously pissing me off. You waited for a couple of minutes before going downstairs after him, then slowly started going down. One of the doors leading to the hall closed with a loud click. You raised your head. Miss Harris? Given into a sudden urge, you smiled. Call me Melody, please. Melody, I prefer to be called Sam. Sam, it's a pleasure. Likewise, I would like to ask you a question, if I may. He tilted his head to the side, observing your reaction. You didn't happen to go into Mrs. Harris's bedroom. I mean, after she was taken away? His eyes squinted slightly and an uncomfortable expression came over his face. The thing is, Detective and I went into that room about 10 minutes ago. I don't know why I did that. I should have just played it cool. I was just like instinctively wanted to tell him the truth. Like, what is wrong with me? Oh my god. Detective and I went into that room about 10 minutes ago, and we got this really strong feeling that someone had been in there just before us. What's more curious is that the room was sealed ever since the moment we took away the body. And nobody touched those seals. Well, almost. If you happen to know anything about this, or of any other way to get into the room other than the door, the detective and I would really appreciate that. You felt your heart beating like crazy and you were unable to breathe. After licking your dry lips, you finally mustered the strength to shake your head. Sam looked you in the eyes for a second, then suddenly beamed and extended his hand to you. Please don't be afraid. I understand how scary it is talking to the police. In the eyes of many, we're like a scary pack of wolves who only know how to bite. But actually, we try to work to save people, not scare them. If you'd like, in the evening we could have a cup of tea in the garden and I'd tell you more. Yes? Yes, please? Wait a minute. He could seriously be an LI. Why is this taking me so long? I can tell you more. He winked at you while confidently balancing between calmness and flirting. He's funny, but scary, but funny. Why? I'm so filled with indecision. again. That whole thing with Dante made me feel uncomfortable for some reason. I know I made the wrong choice. I know I made the wrong choice. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. But funny. I think I'll take you up on that. Just not today, and probably not tomorrow. I need some time to mourn. His face immediately got serious, and he offered you his hand to get over the last step. I'll be looking forward to our meeting. Now, let's head to the living room. The detective is waiting. I can't. Every move I make, I'm filled with indecision. I know that's probably the way that it's supposed to be, but I can't handle how I'm handling this. This is so frustrating. Oh my god. See, this is why I don't play. Oh, okay. I'm trying to say this is why I don't play new games in front of people, because this is how I am. Everything makes me nervous. Oh shit. Okay. Let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. It's fine. It's fine. The entire family, along with some of the servants, were gathered in the living room with a new face among them. Anthony, greetings. It's good to see you, Miss Harris, even under these circumstances. I'm sorry, but Annette wanted her will to be read immediately after her death. She told me this many times, and I can't ignore her will. Yes, of course. We understand. Annette was a woman of action. She always used to say that decisions had to be made swiftly. Frederick coughed loudly, which caused Charles to sit back down in his chair. So, we've all gathered here for a reading of the last will of Mrs. Annette Silver Harris. Everyone stared at the long envelope he was holding. Good paper. You froze in your position and tightly clenched your fist. By trying to distract yourself from what's happening, you'll only make things worse. Meanwhile, the envelope was opened and a white sheet of paper taken out from within. What the hell was that sound? I, Annette Silver Harris, being of sound mind, do hereby declare that this is my last will and testament. I give all of my personal property, including all of my assets, which will be in my possession on the day of my death, to my niece, Miss Melody Harris. The entire room grew dead silent, so quiet you could hear the gardener's scissors clipped from somewhere far outside the windows. Your situation just got considerably more complex, Miss Harris. But she was trying to change the will before she died. What was she going to change it to? This is so rough. This is so rough. And that's it for now. So you got a queer ally, I don't know, problem with your cousin, and some difficulties with the last testament. And why the bulb? The bulb? Oh, the onion bulb. Oh my gosh. I don't know what to do here. I think I'm gonna replay it a couple of times. I mean, I got a month because this is gonna be in development for a while. We're not gonna get the next couple of episodes until like a month or so from now. I'm probably gonna replay it a couple of times until I feel comfortable with it. I don't know, but I still don't know what to say on that last question when he asks, like, should I hint that I'm not telling the truth or should I not? Because if I'm trying to pursue a relationship with him further down the line, isn't it better to be somewhat honest? I'm way too naive. I'm not cut out for this. I would be a terrible detective. Oh my gosh. Anyway. I'm gonna try to deal with it. Yeah, but for now I want to go ahead and play Heaven's Secret so I can make some more poor choices. But yeah, anyway. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this, then that's great. Not sure how, but thank you for watching. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye. 'Cause I'm